Friday, Andy Burnham became the new leader of the UK's Labour Party after Keir Starmer resigned as Prime Minister last month. Now, tomorrow is going to be a major day of transition for UK leadership. First, Starmer will officially step down. He has to resign to the King. After that, Burnham will be officially invited to meet with King Charles and to form a new government. And then the new Prime Minister will make his way to 10 Downing Street. Joining us now is Bloomberg's UK reporter, James Woolcock. James, I still think of this process as requiring the Queen. I can't quite get it in my head that she's not part of it anymore, but it is now King Charles. Can you just walk us through how this works? It's still kind of odd for Americans to watch a country get a new leader without a general election.
Kissing of hands, I believe.
There's kissing of hands?
Yeah.
James, what's going to happen?
Yeah. I mean, basically, you've got to let the King, and you're right, I do this too. I also use the Queen on air, and I should be using the King. You've got to let the King know what's going on. So you have to go to Downing Street and say, hey, this current government's not working out. There's going to be another guy coming in about an hour who is going to pull the next one together. I don't actually know what the King says. It's never normally released to the public. He normally presumably shakes the hands and lets everyone go. And then Keir Starmer will go to Downing Street, and he will have set out his speech. He will be gone. Everything will be moved out. Andy Burnham, who's the new Labour leader, will then walk in, set out a speech for government, will walk inside and will quite literally get given the nuclear codes and said by civil servants, tell us who's in your government, because we still don't know. And that is one of the most striking things of this coming administration. Normally, with an election, you have all the shadow cabinet positions, you know who's going to be Chancellor, you know who's going to be the Home Secretary. We have nothing. And this is not without the difficult work of a lot of reporters in Bloomberg and UK media trying to say, Andy, who is going to be in this top team? What are they going to do? We know remarkably little. And to your point, it is worth saying that of the past 10 UK prime ministers, 6 have not been elected. 6 have come from in their own parties, so-called like takeover prime ministers. But even so, this one is especially unique because 6 weeks ago, Andy Burnham wasn't even a member of Parliament. He was the mayor of Greater Manchester, and it has been kind of a fairy tale ride. He has romped to victory in a sudden by-election, has taken over his party by near unanimous consent, and now goes into government. But I will say this is where the problems start. This is where the rubber hits the road, and this is where the choices start to become difficult.
That packing team at Downing Street has been very busy over the last few years.
Very good at what they do. James, I'm curious, as you think about the way that this government might be formed, it strikes me there are a lot of, it's like a rotating cast of characters. I think of David Lammy and Yvette Cooper, David Miliband for the role of Foreign Secretary. It's a rotating cast of people that we know, you know as well. So when we think of him kind of making his mark or casting a new stamp on this government, how likely is it that he brings in new blood or different individuals than we're accustomed to?
I mean, it's just on the packing, there's a famous story about when Gordon Brown got kicked out in 2010, where there were still mugs from the Labour election victory when the Conservatives went in, because the packing team had cleared everything else out, but the mugs were still there. They hadn't had time in the hours that go through.
Amazing.
It's really tough. I'm going to talk about Ed Miliband. Ed Miliband is the current Energy Secretary. We reported a few weeks back, was the first senior cabinet minister who told Keir Starmer to go. He is one of Burnham's closest backers. He's seen as left-wing. He is by far the most hated politician in the city of London of who could become the next Chancellor. We are reporting that Ed Miliband is currently second in the race to become the next Chancellor after Shabana Mahmood, the current Home Secretary. That's changed in the past week. I still cannot tell you today who is going to be the Chancellor tomorrow. If I don't know that, and Andy Burnham hasn't made up the decision, on Friday he openly said he hadn't made the decision yet, we can't decide who the next Home Secretary is, because then if Shabana Mahmood's not leaving that position, we don't know who's moving on. So, David, you're asking the perfect question. I wish I could tell you we had a better answer. Having talked to civil servants in the past week, they also wish they had known about who the next person's going to be. It sets up a big policy vacuum. It sets up a big leadership vacuum. And it's worth saying that 2 years ago, a very popular Labour leader rode into number 10 Downing Street. We had big questions about whether his plans would hold together. We had big questions about this is Keir Starmer, could keep together a team for 5 years, how that would look. And quite soon, after a very good first couple of weeks, the fiscal reality set in and difficult and popular decisions started to be made. 2 years on, I can kind of copy and paste that analysis to this moment, except this time I don't know who's going to be in charge. Going to be very interesting. It's going to be very interesting, and there's going to. But I think the one thing that's different is Andy Burnham is a far more veteran politician than Keir Starmer. He has been the mayor of Manchester. He has been the health secretary back in the 2000s. He was also the culture secretary. This is someone who knows what he's doing and does have a very clear amount of experience. The question is there really a plan, and has he made these decisions, and how is it all going to go out? But what we do know is he's going to go out guns blazing next week. We are going to get a raft of policy announcements, a raft of big picture thinking as he tries to reset the agenda.
James, it seems like some of those have already been announced. It's interesting to me you don't know who the cabinet is going to be, but you've already heard from him on a couple policies. He's going to reverse this new digital ID law that was supposed to go into place that was a Keir Starmer policy. Talk us through that. And then something about possibly nationalizing or doing something that looks like nationalizing a London water utility.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to scrap digital ID. This was a Starmer policy. It's going to cost around £600 million. It was seen as a big thing on the centre of the left of the Labour Party, and so therefore scrapping it is a signal that Andy Burnham is kind of moving away from Starmer. He's going to potentially announce new drilling in the North Sea as well, and also, like you said, Thames Water has a very difficult history, right? It is in debt to the tune of about 18 billion. It is looking to raise its bills on consumers by something like 50% over the next 5 years, and it has been kind of a test case for a few years now about, will the creditors get a haircut? Will it go into nationalisation? That's not the sort of difficult bit. I'll be fascinated to see when he announces this, what does he think about the wider water sector? Andy Burnham has talked about wanting to have far more public control of utilities. So is that just taking Thames Water into public ownership, or is it the wider water sector into public ownership? Is it going to be more of a regulator? So to your point, I know we can talk about this one company, the largest one in the UK for water utility, sure, big deal. What is the wider rubric going to look like? What's that going to mean for other utilities? What's that going to mean for the regulator? These are big decisions, and these are just the ones we know he's going to announce. I've got a laundry list as long as my arm of defence spending, social care, which we hear we might get some next week on. What's going to happen in the budget around tax? Are we going to get big decisions? The reason why we have all these problems in the UK is there are very clear, well-known policy problems that the government can fix, but they involve difficult political trade-offs and often quite a lot of time as well. People do know these things, politicians do know these things, but the story of the past 2 years has been Keir Starmer being unable to find the will to take these decisions, especially on welfare. It's one where he lost the big flagship sort of vote of his career that in many ways people say paved the way for him leaving office. The question is, can Andy Burnham do different? He is very popular. I can't understress how popular Andy Burnham currently is, but what politically is going to come in the next week, it's going to be fascinating. This is the big moment for him to make his mark, and we don't yet know everything he's going to do.
James, always good to catch up with you. I'll have you back. We want to talk about the sartorial choices of the future prime minister as well. I know that's a hot button issue across the country.
It's giving cool dad energy. Exactly.
A lot of cool dad energy.